Da! Hi everyone, my name is Artur Kurasiński, and for over 10 years I've been observing and explaining how technology influences us, people and society. I'm greeting you from the studio inside the Innovation Campus in Warsaw, Poland. The podcast series is called Early Adopters Nook, where we invite innovative startups to talk about their product and how it's changing the world. My today's guest is Łukasz Foks from Microsoft. So nice to have you here, Łukasz.
Thank you, Artur.
How are you?
Good. Interesting days.
Interesting days. It is, of course. And my first question to you is, looking at the Polish startup ecosystem, how do you assess it in 2022?
You know, I hear that kind of sentence for ages that we are getting more mature.
Oh, yeah.
And I see that traction. Actually, we recently compared the number of startups the last 5 years in Poland, and it's growing. So I feel it's a good sign. And I do hope literally we'll continue with such kind of direction.
Okay. From my perspective, I've been, part of this ecosystem for over 15 years right now, because we created Aula Polska almost 15 years ago. And honestly, I'm very proud. I see lots of, good, positive movements and vibes. But still, when I look, at our neighbors, I mean, like the Latvia, the Estonia, the small countries that we are, close by, this is something that blows my mind. Those guys, I mean, like those startups have a lot of potential, almost the same like Polish ones, but they have, 5-6 unicorns. Right now we have maybe 2. One is still under consideration. The first will be the znany lekarz, right? Mariusz Gwalewski. And we are so, we have such potential. Many people from Poland, many Poles are, abroad working for big companies. We are part of very ambitious and fast-growing startups. And still, inside our country, we struggle to have this, couple of very big companies. And it is something that, I don't want to say that I'm waking up and thinking about it, but I think it is something that's tremendous. And I think this is wrong, and we have to do something with it.
I spent many days actually in Tallinn.
Okay.
In my role, I'm also covering Baltics, so I try to find that secret sauce and pasta, to my colleagues around Warsaw. And I feel that Estonian startups are from day one super vocal. So even in case they started, to draw a business model in napkin, they will tell you that immediately. So they are extremely visible. And you see it's a kind of feature of their leadership. And I feel in Poland you have much more startups. Like, wow, there are so many.
For sure.
But I see 2 extremes. Like literally future unicorns who are super vocal. You see them everywhere. And there's a group of amazing kind of companies with true unique IP. But they are super silent. They work literally alone. And recently, we've been doing a sourcing project for sustainability kind of focused startups. And I have said, come on, I haven't heard any kind of new name coming from Poland. Yeah. And then after a few sprints that we've done, literally we had a nice kind of list of 20 good companies. But I never seen them in any of our
pitching,
local
events.
Correct. They haven't been kind of mentioned by our startup media outlets. Yeah. Fortunately, more and more kind of online sites are trying to dig deeper. Yeah. I feel Sifted is doing an amazing job. So they are trying to find new hot names, and they are nudging those founders to really be more vocal. But I feel it's also the kind of homework that we need to take. And you mentioned that many great kind of people from Poland are traveling abroad. They work in a kind of senior roles in big corporates. But so let's face it, it's true. Also there are our local subsidiaries of big companies in Poland are also huge. Yeah. They do employ hundreds of companies. Microsoft in Poland employs 400 people. And literally, competitors also are investing more and more. So I do hope that those literally great people who are there would start something, and they would try to even not formally for example, start a new venture, but rather they will mingle network with those folks to help them be more visible. And they will add some karma, let's say, that we'll hear more, not only about future unicorns, like literally few, but definitely we're trying to find good scale-ups coming from that big group of 2K. Yes, Startup Poland have said 2.2K as far as I remember, startups last year. So definitely I feel it's even more.
I think, like you said, there's like, let's say the people are very polarized in terms of or being very pushy and, just shouting, from the top of the lungs, we are the best, our startup is like, our company will be the next unicorn, or you are in the completely different kind of corner, then you are, we don't talk about it, just keep working, keep calling on the work. And those extremes are not very cool because you have to, you have to balance everything, your agenda, your comms, everything. But yeah, it was very strange to me that one day people starting talking about Web3, and people are starting, of course, via my network, via LinkedIn, talking to me about, hey, do you know many successful Polish Web3 companies, startups? I was like, well, I don't know anything about it, so I started digging, and it was a ton of them. Just like, they were like very mature, very, very successful, but they don't need attention. And when I was contacting them and asking about, hey guys, why are you just like, giving some interviews and trying to be as a part of this ecosystem in events, they were like, meh, we don't want to, because there's like, we don't see any, let's say, the value in it. Because we wanted to be, fly under the radar, and then, coming, boom, we have this...
the big splashes.
Big splashes. But I said, yeah, this, of course, I respect, no problem. But don't you think that this will help you, growing your business, attracting some investors? And it was like, okay, but what do you mean? I mean, like, you don't have to be like very, very, let's say, you don't have to be the biggest, the loudest person in the room, but, just establish some website, right? Have your, I don't know, Twitter ready, push some communications, because otherwise literally no one knows that you are even existing. So yeah, I totally agree with you. And so based on your experience, are Polish startups any different from CE competitors? Any thoughts on that?
I feel definitely based on kind of those that I met in the last few years.
Yeah,
we love our market. I mean, Poland is big, so literally you could start here, and you would see a nice piece of market that could be a kind of battleground for the rest of European Union kind of countries. So I feel it's. I see the kind of notion that like for a few years they target Poland, and at the end I feel it's okay-ish approach, but of course they need to scale global. And all of our neighbors are waiting for that innovation. You mentioned the case around Web3 kind of startups, and the same kind of ask that I hear from my colleagues from other subsidiaries around Central and Eastern Europe. And fortunately, thanks to EU, we are able to easily export the talent to some other countries. And it's even from legal point of view, it's just the invoice that you are sending to different kind of entity with different kind of address, and it is you are there. So I feel we should leverage that. More and definitely big companies should help in this, because on one end it will be a big investment of time, but at the end the list of steps, that laundry list that you need to tackle at the end in case you want to go to other markets, it's much easier. And you could do everything directly from Warsaw. You could send someone to the biggest event like Startup Summit in Prague, in Czech Republic, and it will be from day one literally present on that market. So that's the interesting kind of thing that I see. But then there are only few who are very intentional where to go beyond Europe. We had recently a discussion with one of the startups who joined our Pegasus program. That's a kind of late stage kind of...
Pegasus.
That's right. We love fancy names. Okay. We love fancy names. And fortunately, there are a few Polish companies there. But those were very kind of committed to selected markets. So with that one, we have discussed, okay, how to approach the market in Canada. So they've over-prepared, literally. They've been ready to say, okay, there's the key event that I need to attend. There are some specific CXOs who I want to meet from my industry. So they've been very intentional about the kind of big market that they want to target. And I do hope literally they will come back to, for example, Virgin Gathering one day, and they will pay back the karma, and they will say how they've done it. So I would love to see more committed startups like this, because also from the corporate point of view, of someone who's trying to add literally 5 cents, I'm very respectful to entrepreneurs and our competitors. So I do hope we are adding some value. One day definitely would be able to somehow help those who reach out to us, and definitely will provide the infrastructure, the platform, or easy set of steps that for those committed startups, we kind of easy go and clear kind of set of actions that they need to take to be there somewhere else.
Well, the one thing is for me very crucial is to close the loop, because there's like there's a lot of people and a lot of companies, startups floating right now, having this enormous valuation and hitting the floor. But the problem is that there's still lack of knowledge how to close the loop, because in the beginning you are establishing something, you are growing, then you're achieving some point of level of your experience or your whatever, and then you go IPO, you are acquire whatever, and then you are coming back to the ecosystem and you are giving back, like you said, karma. Right now, I don't see many people like key roles in this industry that are able to do that. So I think maybe this big breakthrough is upon us, and it will be in the next couple of years. But right now, I'm still rather seeing this whole Polish startup movement much more like we are still running. There's like this end is near, but we still have push ourselves to the limits. But the perfect time will be when the first person will be coming back, like this maybe Mariusz Gralewski, maybe someone else, and say, hey guys, I know everything that I need. I have experience under my belt, and I know how to do from scratch, how to go big, how to expand our business to Americas, to even to China. And right now I'm starting the giving. That will be the best time, because this, in my opinion, this is what's missing right now. We have lots of experienced people. We have a lot of key players like Microsoft, like VCs. But what we need is people with the experience, and this is the next wave of startups. Pumped with the knowledge and of course with the network and of course with the money, because it's also the question, when you are a very motivated kind of founder and you have experience and money and you are sure that your next startup you will be a serial entrepreneur, that's something perfect.
Yeah, and I hope also VCs would help in that, because have a look who is the analyst, kind of lead investor in all of those, let's say, iconic VCs in the US. You will not find any names from Eastern Europe. No. Of course, like they want to start some funds directly in our region. Like after UiPath kind of gig, they are keen to find next UiPath and build next decacorn coming out of our region. Fortunately, due to that, they still do a proper sourcing and scouting, but they should also, I feel, change the structure of the workforce. Yeah. Maybe actually we are still like emerging, let's say, part of the world in terms of like the maturity of our startup ecosystem. But still, there is great talent who could join their teams, who could seed some great insights. What's the innovation kind of being built in Central Eastern Europe, Poland, Romania, Czech Republic, Ukraine, and so on, literally. And I do hope that then those VCs would try to build next portfolio by kind of seeding some insights and learnings from other markets. But I feel even for someone who exited the startup or been a kind of part of the board and decided to go into the direction of or kind of work, I want to work with a VC, for him or her, it's hard to apply as a Polish citizen to the kind of iconic VC. Yeah. It's super hard, and I feel it's failure. Everyone talks about diversity and inclusion. It's also about bringing our talent. We have talent, everyone could challenge us in terms of number of unicorns, but we have amazing people who are trying to change how the VC operates. And I feel also from those companies that we all know who are featured by D-Room, Crunchbase, PitchBook, and so on, we're able to find great people who kind of join those VCs. And I do hope then we'll see a system kind of change. That would also somehow pay back that karma. I feel that's the word of our meetup. And we'll see more great investments coming to Polish startups and EAN that are in the CE.
Yeah, this is something absolutely I'm 100% on your side. And because in my opinion, the ecosystem is it's created by both sides, the startups and the VCs. There's no way we will have a very well-oiled system. Everything will be, the cogs will be moving without the knowledge, money, and dedication, and of course karma. But it has to be, on both of the sides. So VCs have to have a network, money, and also the experience. Startups have to be, have this charisma, also the ability to grow very, very fast, but it has to be as a very something close to a close organism, and I think that we are going in this direction. Maybe not so fast as we were both expected, at least, but I think maybe it is the way it is. We cannot speed up this process because you can't, but we can cherish that we are observing that this moment is coming, and probably we are on this right path. Okay, talking about the Polish startups, what positive and perhaps some negative characteristic do you see when looking at our ecosystem?
I'm biased in a good way. Of course, I see mainly those bright sides of those startups.
Let's talk about the bright sides.
So I feel I see what I call the tech intensity. So most of those startups that I've seen definitely build a unique IP around tech. So those are unique, really real ventures. And I do hope we'll see in terms of next few years, more deep tech startups, because I feel we have the right talent. Everyone complains, there's shortage of dev talent in our market, but still, those people, they could still build an amazing kind of IP, and I see it. So I do hope that definitely that kind of direction would grow. And when I've been preparing for a meeting, I've been surprised how many B2B enterprise kind of companies we do have. And Startup Poland, when asked for the category, wow, literally B2B seems is the hot thing for our ecosystem.
It's the winning category, of course.
Which is great, because definitely it's the best kind of part of the market that you could target when you go abroad. US, Fortune 500 companies, literally, they wait for that innovation because they are much slower than us. And definitely even the digital transformation teams literally are calling our account managers by saying, hey, give me the goods kind of AI startup that would help me clean up the data and would build some insights in the retail space. And it had some POCs. And I feel our startups had some POCs, Work AI, literally. There are so many, Authentic. Their story of exit is a good kind of example of how that collab between the startup enterprise could look like. So I feel we know how to do it. I mean, in terms of tech, many developers, literally. And that's the vast majority of professional devs in C, they are based here. So literally, in case you will sum up all of the pro devs who are in C, you could compare it equally one-on-one with the US kind of talent. So we should leverage that. Of course, C, every corporate, everyone has a different definition. But still, in all of those, Poland is a top market. So we have the talent, we had early examples how to do it. So literally, based on those great stories, we should vest that appetite, and we should see kind of more cases. Again, I would not complain. I would not I would not feature any dark sides of it because again, I respect entrepreneurs a lot. Literally, I've seen so many startups. I'm in the startup role in for the last 4 years, and if we are very dedicated, and I do hope that we'll not lose the power and that kind of passion to go abroad, try to tackle those bold challenges, and we need that energy. So I do hope we will find a way how to keep that energy.
All right, that's the spirit. I love it. And talking about you helping the startups, you as a Microsoft, of course, what is Microsoft looking for in the startups? I mean, like, what is the most precious? What kind of startups are you looking for? Like special category, or can you elaborate on this?
Yeah. So recently we launched a new program called Microsoft for Startups Founders Hub. And since October, we've been in private kind of preview of the program. And we use the time to also ask. We really asked the same question, how we could help as a Microsoft to all of those companies who joined the program. And the first feedback was, hey, help us in business and tech challenges. So be the advisor, be the partner, be someone who is able to literally give us some lessons and at the end give us the traction. We had many programs in the past. So always everyone sees Microsoft as a tech provider. So of course, everyone asks about credits. Hey, are you going to send me an architect who help me to architect everything? Which is great. Definitely, we want to do it. But the key value of partnership with us, and that's what I want to really see as quotes directly from founders, also from Poland, is that we've given the pipeline, that we've been able to open the doors to that Fortune 500 company. And that's how we structure that program. And I feel that's our value. In case you will be committed to that partnership, you will move to our cloud. Definitely, I want to make sure that you will be able to pitch your dream list of future customers. And then you'll be able to meet account executives who are literally responsible for those companies.
Wow.
And they will pitch your solution. And that's how it works. We have a program called COSEL, and every startup could be part of it. And at the end, you could ask us, hey, I want to go to Toronto. I want to meet that person. I want to really have a conversation. Maybe you know what CIOs innovation officers from biggest Polish banks are saying as a kind of area of their challenge. And literally, I've seen so many good conversations also in Poland, in CE, literally also abroad, where we've been able to see those insights, where we've been able to invite kind of startups directly to our retail events, like NRF retail event, where we are one of the key sponsors in the US. We've invited startups there. And actually, when I seen that space, more of those square meters were dedicated to startup solutions than ours. Because let's face it, true. It's easier for account exec, me or anyone, to pitch the good value proposition of a startup. They say, oh, we have 160 plus Azure services. You could definitely build anything out of it, and big enterprises are doing so. But there is a good Polish startup who've proven that they know how to work in enterprise. They got the POs in the Polish bank. Here's the case study. Hey, let's talk. So definitely, it will be much easier to see that innovation happening. And that's of course, nice story. That's the ultimate dream that I have when I meet a good kind of team. But it's a journey, and we want to help. So I do hope, literally, that more Polish startups will be able to say that we help in that area.
So you as a Microsoft, you are connector. You are opening your gates and you are inviting startups, and you are even connecting your partners with these startups. Well, actually, I think this is the most crucial thing in the beginning for the startup, because you don't have proven, path. You don't have anything, a background experience. You don't even have first logo to put on your website saying, hey, those guys are supported us. I mean, we sold our service to this corporation. So sure, when you as a Microsoft can help achieve first goal to get first contact and then talk and even, close the deal. Wow, that will be something. Marketing is very crucial, but sales, I think that one guy from States told me one day that in Poland, of course, it's lots of very talented people here are living, but the problem is that U.S. citizens, Americans, are better in sales. So actually, what's missing in many of Polish startups is ability to just do the talk, to connect, to have a proper, interaction, and at the end of the day, just push it and sell it. So if you can help with it, I think this will be a very big win-win.
We are trying to do so, and I feel then it's also the homework to the startup. Of course, they need to be very dedicated, and I've seen those cases that end up with such win. I've seen people who've been really focused on that. So for them, for example, that particular partnership had some opportunity size as a deal, and literally they've been committed to one. I've seen some startups who've taken that value prop for granted, and they have said, oh, Microsoft will do everything for me. And they've been kind of trying to say, all right, it's one of 5 deals that I could have in the B2B space, maybe some other company would have, and so on. And it's great because, of course, there's the appetite for growth, but literally, it's super hard to do it. And that lesson that you mentioned that we need to have as a Polish kind of startup ecosystem would be only like kind of done in case we would have even one win per startup, literally, in case we will see those kind of greenfield, new, nice headlines, those wins. So literally, I feel it's great. We should go into that direction, but I would advise really to be focused on one company, one case, and then continue to other. Because, of course, we are keen to help. And it's also a great win for us because we are showing how third-party companies are using our tech. So it's a huge advantage for us. We could even produce the case study for tech kind of piece of the story. But again, commitment, literally focus. I haven't seen that one in all of the cases, which is kind of obvious. Yes, we need to learn how to do it as an ecosystem. There's an opportunity to go into that direction, but not really always. It's done. And it's like date, literally. People need to find a match between each other. And I really look for that match. But my first I'm trying to see how focused the startup is in that first meeting. They are not asking for credits because they know that they will be able to buy those credits for any cloud provider in the future because simply it's coming from their P&L, because they will have new customers. So customer would pay for your product. So we'll have literally the infrastructure to invest into some other areas. So I feel at the end that long-term vision would be a key, and really commitment and focus.
Okay, laser focus and commitment. That's 2 things you have to remember. Okay, nowadays there are like a lot of competitions, all kind of assistance programs for startups. Microsoft offers its own program called, as you mentioned, Microsoft for Startups. How it's different? How you should start up, and why should startup consider taking part in it? I mean, like, why choose Microsoft right now?
Yeah, so we have changed that kind of scope of the program. So we had B-Spark, then we had Microsoft for Startups, now we have the Microsoft Startup Founders Hub. I feel our first program was when we started the Azure business back in 2009.
Yes. You were giving away the tokens for your cloud.
Yeah, like everyone is doing. Like I mentioned, there are many. But literally, we got that feedback from founders that credits or tech is just a puzzle. Then even you need some guidance how to make magic out of it. It's easy to even plan wrongly your infrastructure, and you need to have that particular advice how to be very efficient in using those credits, because no matter what kind of cloud you will use, you need to be super kind of lean, and you need to find that cloud native approach because it will be cheaper simply from any invoice that you will see at the end. So we are providing credits, yes, we are providing tech, but we want to definitely advise you from day one how to really spend $1 in a very wise way. What will be the best kind of service, particular architecture that you want to build. So you will have an architect from day one who will be assisting you. And then whenever you will be ready for the tech part, we'll be keen to discuss the sales part. So, for example, B2B companies, SaaS companies, they could easily integrate with what we call Azure Marketplace. So imagine that you have that CRM for kind of big enterprise. Of course, you could build a workforce that would be pitching that, would be going to industry events, but there are some markets. And we have such kind of virtual market in our Azure. So CTO of Fortune 500 company could go to Azure Marketplace, type CRM, and they will see all of the third-party solutions, not only our kind of services, third-party solutions. So we want to make sure that you will find a way how to scale with us based on the kind of tech that you moved to our tech. On one end, it's a marketplace. On the other, literally, we want to find a way how to build a joint go-to-market. So, for example, you want to target biggest telcos in Czech Republic. So we are constantly meeting those people. We are having dedicated industry days. So we will be keen to have you there. But it's super important that it starts with tech and then we continue with business. That might sound like a thing for big scale-ups, and that's our learning. With Founders Hub, we pivoted our value proposition and currently our program is finally open to any company at any stage.
Okay.
So for example, here in CIC, you started with business model canvas, you have a friend who is dev, you put the landing page, maybe LinkedIn page, and you're about to start.
Oh.
You could join Founders Hub. You will get, again, the tech support. We are having constantly like new community events that those are open to any startup who is the part of Founders Hub. And we also have 200 plus like mentors from all around the world who open the DRS calendars to those kind of companies who are in Founders Hub. So we have discussed, for example, the geo expansion. So maybe you want to have an early feedback how to start in Canada. Of course, you could research. Of course, you have some friends. You could go to the conference there. But literally, in 5 minutes, you could have a appointment with someone from Microsoft from Canada who will spend 30 minutes with you and would guide you. And will be maybe a future mentor, investor, someone who opened the door to the local ecosystem. So definitely, I feel currently, to sum up, our value prop is beyond tech. It starts with tech. Definitely, we are a leading cloud provider, but the true magic and where we want to drive that change versus others is how we could really help startups to scale with the business, marketing, anything which is like non-tech also.
Okay, that's very kind of new because from my experience, I've been observing many acceleration programs, many attempts to mingle with the startups, to say, hey, we will help you because we are counting on it that one day you will be so big as a company that you will be like, our partner and we will be like your customer, and you guys will be like feeding us with your money. But in the beginning, it was like, okay, you have infrastructure, you have, your email accounts, blah, blah, that's it, right? And many startups, I will repeat myself, but many startups do not know how to sell. So you have to, take the hands and say, hey, okay, relax. We can help you. Just point, on the map when you want to go. Perhaps we can, arrange some calls, arrange some meetings, and you will be able to. You have guidance. You will be able to talk with people from our network, or maybe from, from the side of our partners. But we will help you in this. And tech, like you said, is only part of the solution because tech is right now. It's easy and it's cheap, right? All it matters is the contacts, the network, and the ability to just make this happen in terms of two people are meeting online or offline, shaking hands, say, okay, my product is for your company, it suits you, and the other side say, hey guys, it's awesome, you guys saved me a lot of times and money, and that's when this will be happening. I think your side as a corporation and Microsoft will be very pleased because this is like win-win-win, right? You have partners that's very very happy. You have startups that will be working with you, probably buying some services from you. Everything is done.
Yeah, and everyone gives some promise. So I feel that the founder should challenge that. And also on the other hand, I do hope that you will hear some questions from all those corporates, even some program operators, let's call them like this, who will be able to really provide some insights how committed they are. Because it's a relationship.
Yeah,
so I do hope literally that finally after those years, especially in Poland, we have that, I'm speaking rather as a startup fund right now, that feature, that superpower to verify what's the essence, what's the true value of that meetup.
Yeah.
And we are discussing what we provide as a Microsoft, yes, but I want to also see that more startups will say, okay, I understand your business model, so I could offer you, for example, the commitment, the time that literally we'll build the bonds together. And I feel it's fair for both sides. So literally, that's why on top of like the web app, or we'll be able to redeem all of those credits, we still keep the team in Central and Eastern Europe. So for example, there's a dedicated person for Poland, my team, for Estonia, for Czechia, and so on. Literally, we have 8 people in my team in Central and Eastern Europe. So especially with those late stage companies, we are able to even have like such conversation to see in case there's a match.
Yeah.
And still, I do hope that personal chat and productive tension, I mean, the conversation between two sides would really give the essence of what could happen at the end in the long term. We cover Microsoft, but literally, again, I will repeat myself by saying, challenge every program that exists on the market. There are many. Some of them are for ages. Have you got some value on top of credits? Answer yourself.
A little.
And also challenge us. Like literally, we'll be keen to even adjust the benefits. Example, we want to give also the benefits to startups from other startups who are the part of our program.
Oh,
so for example, in case you are a SaaS founder, you have some product for businesses, any other startup could be your client. So currently we are trying to add more and more such third-party benefits beyond our tech. We partner with OpenAI. That's of course this worldwide kind of thing, big one, of course, iconic. But you will have the access to OpenAI kind of community architects who will be able to advise you on the AI usage within your startup. You will be covered with some extra kind of license that they are selling. So wow, I do hope that there will be more cases like this. This morning I've seen 2 Canadian startups who decided to join the list. So I do hope one day I will be able to say, hey, there is a Polish startup who joined Microsoft Startup Founders Hub, and their benefits are offered worldwide to all of our kind of hundreds of thousands of companies whom we have there.
Awesome. Are you looking for startups in a certain category?
Yeah, so the program currently is open for everyone, even for super early stage founders. But of course, for that sales kind of marketing part of the game, definitely, you need to be quite mature. So in case you want to pitch to CXO, probably you are a target enterprise, you are B2B. So B2C marketplace company would not be kind of a good fit for this, but definitely we want to help you with tech. So for the journey that I have described, like in the last couple of minutes, I feel it's mainly for B2B because you could rely on us as a partner. But in case you are B2C early stage, definitely will be covered at least with the tech part. So it's open for everyone. Like in literally, we also learned that we need to pivot, we need to open the doors to more startups, which is great. I feel it's more inclusive at the end. But in case you like my story around that partnership, I feel it would work mainly for B2B customers, due to the fact simply because that business model is also aligned with our comfort zone, as we are saying probably to every business on the planet.
So it's proven, and you don't have to, everything is understandable, and you guys have this community and your everything you covered, and you're reliable. Everyone knows Microsoft, so it's easy for you just to say, hey, to point at your partner and say, hey, you guys, why don't you let's work together for a little bit, and then decide if your services fits your demand. Okay, is there any particular Polish startup working with you with Microsoft that you can boast about? I mean, like just give an example of this good cooperation.
Yeah, so I feel Poland is the most important in CES for now. And I see like literally Poland is top 1 among all of the 30 plus CE countries. So we have, amazing cases there. And some of them are still silent, like we have discussed. But, always I'm trying to put some good examples which are not very visible in the ecosystem. So, for example, Work AI, Cyberus Labs, Digital Teammates. Those are 3 which I love. Recently, we had a couple of good, even external kind of comms on this. We even asked Sifted kind of editors to challenge and ask how they call up with Microsoft went. So on Sifted, there are some case studies. And there are more, literally. And I do hope, for example, Digital Teammates will be the next UiPath of Poland. They have an amazing value prop. I mentioned also sustainability at the beginning. So we are about to launch a dedicated initiative for sustainability startups. And I've seen good examples and commitment. Plan B, I want to pay back the karma again to the Polish ecosystem. And Aga and her team. I feel that we found a fit between our kind of values, which is also important for us. We don't see that only as a transaction, but rather we look for companies who are very, very aligned with our mission. And you could be the next, literally. In case you go to customers, Microsoft.com, put the keyword startup, have a look what we've done. There's a new tech case study with FinTech OS, one of my FAF actually companies. They are from Romania. But amazing team. Again, super tech intense, targeting B2B customers. They provided good set of insights how to build a robust infra. and how they could be agile also from tech point of view. Yeah, so there are many, but I would be keen to even in every conversation like this to change the names and add more.
Perfect. Okay, that was my last question. Thank you very much, Łukasz. My today's guest was Łukasz Foks from Microsoft. So if you guys right now building or thinking about your startup, please apply to this new program from Microsoft, because as you can hear, there's lots of things you can guys get. And actually, even if you are, just after your first business Canva meeting, you can I think you should be thinking about this in your real time. Please apply. Please be advised that this is something for you, even if you are on the very early stage. So, guys, once again, thank you very much. Thank you, Łukasz. It was a pleasure. Once again, my name is Artur Kurasiński, and this is the podcast about early adopters, technology, and change. Please like, share, leave your comment below. This will help us to get a broader audience. Thank you very much, and see you next time.
Wow. Stop. What? Bye.